What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. This time we're breaking down Game 3 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Pittsburgh Penguins here tonight, 4-2. And this was a much more enjoyable win, I think, for Leafs fans in this one. You extend the home opener win streak to 9 consecutive years that you win the home opener. We have now made a new streak here on the Leafs Nation After Dark show where we are now 2-0 on shows that Rosie is not scheduled for. Don't tell him I said that, but, you can't deny stats. And then on top of that, you get the top 6 finally involved here. Matthew Knies on the board, Mitch Marner on the board, William Nylander on the board with 2 here. You get the top 6 scoring all 4 goals for this game here tonight, for this Maple Leafs team here tonight. It is a good way to kick off things at home. It's almost like these guys said, you know what, screw it. We're going to save the goals. We're going to save the good plays until we get back on home ice and we show everyone how we were supposed to play and they expected us to play on the road. We're actually just going to save it and show them in person. There's no point of wasting our energy in those goals in the game on the road against Montreal or the game on the road against New Jersey. Forget it. We'll get to it on Saturday night against Kyle Dubas's Pittsburgh Penguins. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang. You got nothing on us. We're going to be bringing it on Saturday night. Let's start with the top 6 showing up. It took a little while for the first line to show up, Matthews, Marner, Knies. It took a little while for them to get going in this one. Marner ultimately does get on the board with a goal here tonight, and Matthews, 8 shots, still not able to find the back of the net. But I think that this was a much, much better performance from them. They were generating a lot more. It basically really didn't start until the second period either, where I felt like they actually started to dominate and kind of get to it and take things to this Leafs team, to this Penguins team with that group going out there and being able to maintain offensive zone pressure, hold the puck in for a long period of time, create chances, get pucks on net. Like it took a little bit for them to get into it here tonight, but once they did, they looked really good. They looked dangerous. And then from about halfway through the second period, all the way until the end of the game, that group was able to create chances every single time that they went out there on the ice. So it was nice to see because it did take a while for them to get to it and get into it there, but it pays off. I mean, we had to wait 2.5 games to see it and to see them show up, but they did. And I think that this is a pretty good performance from the boys all around tonight. One of the other major positives, William Nylander basically took over from the very start. He, from the first time he stepped on the ice tonight, looked lethal. Every time he came over the boards, every time he had the puck on his stick, he was a weapon. He was controlling play. He was controlling the pace. He was very, very capable of maintaining the puck in the offensive zone, not losing it, generating opportunities. RJWI saying there in the chat, Nylander was like himself. He was. He was like himself tonight. He actually finally started to kind of get back into what we saw William Nylander being last year when he was able to put up the career high in points and goals that he did last season to get himself that contract. That was what I thought he looked like tonight. Now, a couple of notes. First period, we went into this one. I talked about it in the game preview. Bobby McMann, William Nylander, Pontus Holmberg. That was the line. I thought that William Nylander was going to be able to excel in that line because he was going to be the focal point. There's no sharing the puck around. There's no having to work with Tavares and having him be this co-host on that line, of another co-star on that line, another guy who's going to create stuff and maybe take some of the spotlight away from Nylander. You knew from the beginning it was going to be Nylander all night. I don't think Pontus Holmberg has been overly impressive. I think Craig Berube gave him an opportunity here and said, hey, you're going to get some more minutes. You're going to get some tougher looks. You're going to be able to play with Nylander. Let's see what you can do with this here tonight. And I don't think he was that great in the first period. Hence, Craig Berube making a switch. This was a purposeful switch, though. Not some ridiculous flip-flop switch with Holmberg to Domi and the Holmberg to Domi. Like, one shift it's good, one shift it's bad. We go one side, then we go the other, and you're changing Domi and Holmberg back and forth. Nylander never gets a consistent line mate. Those guys never get comfortable in a spot. It was first period, not good. Pontus Holmberg, you are done. Go to the third line. We're going to change things up. Max Domi fills that spot. And Max Domi looked really, really good alongside William Nylander as well. I want to give kudos to him there too, because he stepped up into that role. He stepped up alongside William Nylander as, hey, I'm going to be the second line center. I'm going to fill the shoes of John Tavares. And basically, from the moment he got on the line to the end of the game, it was dish, 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 dish. And he created a ton of opportunities for William Nylander and for that second line. He was an absolute ball of energy, I guess, is maybe the best way that I could put it. I was going to try to use something else, but ball of energy is probably the best way. He was a lightning rod. Every single time he was on the ice, he was creating things, he was generating chances, he was stealing pucks, he was making defensive plays, he was winning battles. Like, he was doing a lot of good stuff here tonight, and it was creating opportunities. It wasn't just something that got mixed into the game that could get washed over. Domi was very good tonight and created a lot. He ends up walking away from this one +2, 2 assists, 0 shots on goal, which maybe he probably should just shoot a little bit more, but he plays 16 minutes of ice time, and for the most part, it was just all alongside William Nylander. You see him go out there for that first shift for that shift in the second period. Pittsburgh fumbles the puck. Domi turns up the ice, fake shot, pulls it to the backhand, drops it off to Nylander. Nylander one-timer, gets Nylander on the board for his first of the season, gets Domi another point here, and it's just something that's comforting too to see, because Nylander's the focal point. And now you have a guy who can find him. Now you have got a guy who can dish to him. One thing I do want to point out here as well. Last year, Domi plays with Matthews. And every time we came on here for the postgame show and we were talking about Domi and we were talking about Matthews and what we were seeing out of them, it was that Domi was finding Matthews. Domi was creating these chances. Now you go with an opportunity with William Nylander, a guy who is a premier goal scorer in the NHL. You're putting a incredible playmaker alongside of him. Stuff's going to happen. Chances are going to be created. Opportunities are going to arise from Max Domi playing on that line. I don't want to jump to it too early and start some kind of panic here tonight amongst people. I'm not trying to panic people, but it might be time to bump Johnny T down to the third line. I'm not saying cause panic because, like, people are going to freak out at John Tavares and the millions of dollars down there. It's more just like, it might be time to just say, I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your number is, how long you've been here, how much money you make. If you are not going to perform at the level that we need you to for the role that you're playing, you might not fit into that spot. That might be Max Domi's spot moving forward. And I don't think I would be mad about it. I don't think I would be mad about it. Bobbert Gallant, JT is a future Hall of Famer and can play with just about anyone. I don't disagree with him being like a credible player. I don't know about Hall of Famer. That seems probably a little aggressive. I'm not sure that we can get Hall of Fame. If you can include like entire career accolades, potentially, but I probably wouldn't say Hall of Famer. I don't think him and Nylander have ever been particularly great together. I don't think that that's been a pairing that has excelled at any point really for them being here. And I talked about it last time. And I think it's a little bit of a kind of a hard concept to grasp. Maybe I'm like thinking a little bit too much into it, but Nylander last year, I don't think had the season he did because he was playing with JT. I think he just had that season because he's that good and was operating independently of Tavares. And I don't think the two of them are that complementary of each other. I don't think their games work too well together. Move JT to the third line. Spread some things out. Get some depth here. Depth in your lineup. Then you can have John Tavares as your third line center. I know it's a little bit of a gap in that second spot. I don't think Max Domi excels in other areas, but in terms of how much they were generating and how dominant they were on the ice every time they went out there, I think that might be a good line to start to lean on going forward. I do think it would be a good line to lean on. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.